Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You can't No one understood the world that I was making. Look me in the face and tell me I was faking. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. Ice and flames call my name. I freeze, I burn, I blame. I love, I hate the same. It's on my face, I cannot hide from the mistake my parents made. I'm never moving on. Not made from love, a remnant of a selfish motive. Was I needed? Do I need it to go wrong? Polarized, inherent pain pumping through my veins. Eyes in flames call my name. I freeze, I burn, I blame. I love, I hate the safe I embrace inside of me. I only fuel the fire. But is it wrong for me to fight against the balance of my power? History in halves, one brain. I will break the chain. Oh no, どこには呼ぶ燃える恨め凍ると僕の愛と嫌いにいる。Oh no, どこには呼ぶ燃える恨め凍ると僕の愛と嫌いにいる。I love, I hate the same. Eyes in flames, call my
Hey guys, I'm back and I'm alive. Just barely. Boy, have I got a story to tell you, but that's later for the show. Um, Sorry that Banana and I wasn't able to do a show Sunday, but I was actually hanging with him. We broke a little bread, had some good food, got to actually meet up in person. Was much appreciated time away with my family and stuff. Got in and like I said, I got to spend some time with my partner in crime, Banana, and I enjoyed that tremendously. But I am so glad to be home. You know, that's one of the things about when you take a trip, right? Is when you take a trip, it's getting back home, getting back in the routine, being able to sleep in your own bed, just good things like that. Um, so anyway, a little story about my trip before we get into some of the stuff that's occurred. Um, the trip was fantastic. I was a first time user of Airbnb, and I was thoroughly impressed with the app, the whole process, the homes that we stayed in, a couple of different homes we stayed in Texas, different parts of the state. The homes were very nice. The hosts of the homes were very just communicative rather, and were just very pleasant, very nice. And quite honestly, if any of you guys are going to be doing some traveling or whatever, I would highly recommend, especially if there's like a group of you or something, I would highly recommend looking at using Airbnb over, say, hotels or something like that. I just found it to be just a whole better experience all the way around versus staying in a hotel. It was very much more like just being in a home away from home. So, anyway, but anyway, had a real good, nice, like I said, had a real nice time. Was in Dallas Fort Worth area for a couple of days. Like I said, that's when I got to meet up with Banana. That was Sunday evening. Matter of fact, let's see if I can quickly. I think I tweeted out a picture of us. Let me see if I can bring that up on stream for you guys right quick. Yeah, here we go. So let's see here. Yeah. So as you can see, there's a picture of me and Banana. Uh, we had a really good time. Really enjoyed ourselves. Banana is just he's just as good, just as down to earth and wholesome in person as he is, and and we just like I said, we just had a really good time, and I was just really glad I got to spend some time with Banana like that. Um, but anyway, a little quick story before we get into the show. So um, Monday afternoon, what is no Tuesday? I'm sorry, Tuesday afternoon. We were heading back, and was probably about 2 hours or so away from the house. My wife was driving. My mom, who went with along with us on this trip, was in the front seat of the vehicle. I was in the back seat, and as you guys know, I have some arthritic problems, arthritis and stuff that I have to, I'm taking medication for and stuff. And anyway, so I unbuckled my seatbelt, which I know, don't. It was a bad choice. And anyway, so I did that so that I could adjust in the seat and stretch my legs and stuff because my joints, my knees and things like that, and my hips and stuff were starting to really bother me. So I kind of was trying to adjust to get a little bit better position, whatever, to kind of hopefully give some relief there. And up in front of us, probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 car lengths or cars ahead of us, whatever, there was a wreck that happened. And of course, when something like that happens, we're on interstate, everybody slams on their brakes, right? To avoid the wreck, to not become a part of the wreck. And then, of course, it's a chain reaction, right? So my wife slams on the brakes and I go flying like in a cartoon or something, right? I go flying and one leg goes like this, right? And the other leg goes like that. And on the seats, right? So my left leg went into the driver's seat, my right leg went into behind the passenger seat, and my ball sack went smashing into the console that was in between the two seats. My head went smacking into the driver's side headrest, jacked me up 3 ways to Sunday. Yeah, I mean, my balls were hurting because they just got mashed, right? But then my knees and legs and everything else was just destroyed as well. But anyway, luckily, we didn't hit anybody and nobody hit us. And the only one that was really hurt, and I paid for it this morning, Lord have mercy, when I tried to get up out of the bed, it was a pain in the ass trying to get out of the bed. But anyway, like I said, the two people that I don't know if anyone in the two cars that collided, I don't know how bad, if any of them was hurt. I know there was one lady that was set down there on the side of the road, and anyway, the cars were really, really damaged bad. But anyway, but we lived, to tell another day. And hey, so let's just take a quick brief and just let's do some shout outs to people in the audience here. Let's see. We got Default 88. We got Orson Wellies. And looks like we have Abby Blackbird. Glad to see you guys in. Glad that you've joined me today. Appreciate you. So let's just kind of get into some of the stuff that I guess kind of missed. Well, I wouldn't say I missed because I was still following things. I was still watching streams. I was still trying to feed information to different creators and stuff, as I could. But I didn't take my laptop with me and things like that because I wanted to try to just kind of relax. I just kind of wanted to unwind, and I did, and I really appreciate so. But I still had that itch, right? And so, there was some really big things that popped off, and we're going to get into that. But the first thing that I want to kind of address is there's this a little situation with a friend of mine by the name of Chris the Narc. Now, Chris the Narc, I think he was trying to be funny here. I'm going to give the boy a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, okay? But this is from a recent stream of his where he's talking about, it looks like Quantum TV is involved in here, whatever. But anyway, let's just, let's have a little lissy-poo here to what old Chris thought was so damn funny.
Keep it up, Chris.
Ambulance.
Keep it up, Chris.
Repzilla.
Twitter war, dude.
You're not
Twitter
Repzilla.
war.
That's how Repzilla would probably say ambulance. Ambulance.
Okay, so Chris going to be funny. Chris going to make fun of us people in the South and how we pronounce things, huh? Well, not there. I unfortunately, I did not get to catch this live because I would have took a little bit of but I was glad to see that there was a couple of people that came into this stream and tried to set the boy right on the path of righteousness.
I just popped in real quick because you're making fun about how people with country accents
Oh,
say
hold on. Hold on.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, get him.
Hold on.
Recording this
Get
right
him,
now.
Zolly.
I made
him.
one joke about Repzilla, and now
Oh,
I'm
I
getting
know.
shit for
I
it.
see.
I
I see.
Ambulance.
You got a problem with
Wow.
the way we say ambulance?
That's right, ambulance. How the hell else you going to say it, y'all? Seriously, it's ambulance. I don't know how else or you know what? Sometimes we call it the damn meat wagon, but I can see where that might be a little bit insensitive to the loved ones and people that might be inside that thing, calling it a meat wagon. So how else you gonna say it's ambulance? God dang.
Dude, you forget I lived in. Hold on, you forget that I lived in the South. I was born and raised in the South. I lost
No, okay. Hang on here. Hang on just a damn second.
the South. I lost the accent.
Get him, Xylee.
He said he was born and raised in the South and he lost the accent. Nah. I'm going to call bullshit on that, Chris. I'm sorry, my dude. I'm going to call bullshit. I'm going to tell you something. I was born and I was raised and I lived the first 18 years of my life in the South. Now, subsequently, I have lived all over the United States. I have lived in Illinois. I have lived in Indiana. Hell, I've lived in Louisiana. I've lived everywhere. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something. Just because I lived up north does not mean that I lost my southern accent. Now, if you may have been born in the South. I don't know. I'm not for sure exactly when you say born in the South. I don't know where that was at. But son, if they moved you out and you're still sucking your mama's titty, okay, that don't count. You can't say you lost it. So we're going to have a little communication, Chris and I are. And we're going to have a little understanding on just how many years he lived down here in God's country before he moved up north. Okay? Because we're going to have a little understanding about this. But I was, so I'm not the one. So my friend Zada comes in there and she starts trying to get the boy on the right path.
Xylee.
I
Well,
lost
then
the
what I
accent.
need you to do is I need you to remember the South and how we take care of things when people step out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I already gave.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's Repzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Damn right.
Get him, Rep.
Get him.
Hey,
Get him.
hey, I got Hey.
Now, I don't know if y'all can see this or not right here. Look up here in the corner of this right here string. Do you see what he's doing? He's tucking tail and he's running. You can see that damn yellow streak right up his damn back. See? Why? Because he know he done stepped up in it. I guarantee you, he know. That's why his back turned yellow and his little ass is hunching as quick as he can out there in his little fancy ass streaming chair, whatever the hell them damn things are called, and he's hunching his ass out that door because he know he's fixing to get it.
I got something to say.
Hold on, my headphone pulled out.
Listen,
Careful, man. We're on Twitch, so be
And
careful.
I'm gonna be honest.
We're on
I did
Twitch
not
and we're
know
on
Repzilla
YouTube.
was joining this. I did not know Repzilla was joining this. So this is just happenstance.
Hey,
by the way.
Repzilla, what's up, bro?
listen. I mean this with all sincerity.
Okay.
Ambulance.
Shit, I saw that today and I was like, you know what? That's some pretty good shit right there, right? And so anyway, in this tweet where that was, was shared out and stuff by the great Hannah Clark here at Hannah Animal. If you're not following her on Twitter, you really ought to. She's good. She's good people. And Zadi says he deserved it, just saying. And Hannah says he did. And then Chris comes in here and says, I don't think so. And Hannah says, you think wrong. And so Repzilla comes in and says, are you ever wrong? And that's when the peepaw had to come out because I ain't about that. See? And I said, I'm with Zolly and Rep on this one, Chris. Chris needs a trip out behind the woodshed. He's forgotten his manners. And I said, I know just the peepaw to handle the job. And Chris comes in and says, I think we all need to calm down, have some grits and some nice oven roasted chicken and some homemade sweet potatoes. It's sweet taters. See, I don't want to hear nothing about you in the South and you don't even know how to spell taters right. To break bread over Sunday dinner. And so I said, I'm afraid we're past that, young man. You have done insulted our very speech. It's a trip to the woodshed and you will fetch the switch. And it better be a king hickory because none of that spraggly little twig mess. And so Chris says, fuck, can I at least pick the largest switch? The small ones hurt the most. Well, now that redeemed him a little bit right there. That redeemed him there just a little bit, okay? Because he knew how them little switches are. Because I'm going to tell you about them little switches, okay? Now, if you wasn't raised in the country, them little switches, let me tell you what they'll do. So those little switches, when they whoop, you see, what they do is they'll wrap around, they'll come around, wrap around that little leg. And here in the South during the summer, we all be wearing shorts, right? And so they'll get them little naked legs and they will tear your fine hiney up. Now, I'm telling, it's, that's the gospel. So anyway, like I said, Chris gets a little bit of redemption there. And it sounds like maybe he may still have a little bit of the good upbringing in him from his family. So he might get a little bit of a redemption there on me. Let's see what we got. People here in the chat saying, of course, says testify, and then Abby saying, yeah, he was on a good one. Yeah, he was on a good one. It is all. And listen, guys, it's all jokes. I don't, Now he keeps disrespecting our speech, though. I may have to march old Chris out to the woodshed, and I'm not above doing it either. I'm gonna just tell you. Small PP Chris is stupid. Nah, Chris ain't stupid. He's just as they said in the Gunslinger series, he's forgotten the face of his father. Abby says, speaking of taters, Stardust is a raw potato. Well, now I'll just leave that between y'all on that. I'm not going to get into that. Small Peepee says, I'm more cute than Chris. Well, now I don't know about that, Small Peepee. I ain't never seen a picture of you. But I'll take your word for it. How about that? So in this next little thing, I want to give a shout out to Gar of the Rage. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Let's see here if I can. Let's see here. Let me do this here. Open in a new tab. There we go. So Gar of the Rage is he's a YouTuber, and he's got almost 3,000 subs. He's a very good creator in that he is able to, he's very, very thorough in his research, right? And hang on here now. What just happened? I just got an alert of some kind here. Where's my darned alerts? Oh, it's not showing me the alerts. I got to figure out how to get the alerts up here. Hang on a second, y'all, because I don't want to miss nothing. Let's see here. Here we go. We pull this up over here. Pull this up over here. Change this here to here. And let me see here. Okay. So small says Small PP. Oh, thanks for the sub, Small. I appreciate that. But anyway, so he has been working on this video for a while on Quantum TV. And quite honestly, I'd really kind of hoped that, I was really kind of hoping that we could kind of put all this stuff behind us. We've talked about Quantum quite a few times over on the podcast, Clear Mud podcast. I think I may have talked about him briefly over here on my channel. But I'm kind of really wanting to move on. I think Quantum is a person who is, he is not open or receptive to any type of criticism at all. He does not value anybody's opinion but his own. And even when he is slapped in the face with empirical evidence, he just ignores it, or he will throw up some sort of straw man argument to deflect and change the topic of conversation to something else. He is not you cannot engage with him in any type of open and honest conversation, because he is not, like I said, he is not receptive. I tried way back before, like shortly after his very first initial run in with Mischief. I reached out to him. I tried to have a conversation with him. He just basically, um, I asked him a few questions. Um, he was just very dismissive and blocked me. So on Discord, and so whatever. I mean, that's his choice. I mean, he does not have to. He doesn't have to engage in any kind of conversation, I guess, with anyone. Um, but my personal opinion is if you will listen to other people and get other views on things, it might serve you better in the long run. But when I first started looking into and researching quantum, there was some allegations that went. This was way back before any of the commentary channels ever got involved with him. Before anything, there was some conversations put out there that he had lied about his military service. And during all the, and I looked into it. I wanted to, I looked into it. I researched it. I tried to, but trying to get information on a person's military career is not an easy feat. It's not something that you can just, go out here and Google something and it's there, right? You have to have, you have to either have some inside type connections, or you had to be more knowledgeable about the military than what I am. I never served, and so I know a little bit, but what I know you can fit in a thimble, right? And anyway, I had heard this out there. Like I said, I kind of looked into this, but like I said, I everywhere I went, dead end, couldn't get any tangible proof about it. And nobody, like for example, this was never brought by Mischief. This was never brought up and proven by Actman or Most Critical or any of those huge guys that did videos on on quantum, Review Tech, any of those guys, right? I knew about all this stuff, but I couldn't prove it. And I'm of my moral creed is if I cannot prove it, or if I cannot find something beyond a shadow of a doubt that says, okay, this is very plausible, or this definitely happened, I'm not going to talk about it publicly. I'm not going to bring it up, and I'm not going to, I'm just not going to bring it. But Gara was able to not only find it, but was able to find tangible evidence to back up his thing. So I just want to show this real short little clip of this. And what the video is over an hour long. What I would highly recommend is, if you haven't watched it, that you go check this out. Check this video out.
So, Quantum, I got a burning question for you, buddy. How many years did you serve in the U.S. military? Now, a lot of you are sitting there like, wait, Quantum never said he was in the U.S. military. Well, either A, you forgot what I posted earlier in the harassment section, or B, you haven't been paying attention. Actually, let me play a clip from his stream where he said he did serve.
For the great reviews and keep up the great work and subscriber on this channel. I think I was like Kendall Jackson. That was like my very first subscriber here. And so it's really cool to see like your name pop up too, because you're one of those people as well that have been here for a while, so that's cool. We've got Pick Millie, what's going on, man? You said, my guy, what's going on? You said, how's it going? You said, my veggie eating jarhead, been enjoying my C1 thanks to you. Yeah, I denounced the jarhead. I do. I denounce it. I am not proud of it. I am not. I don't know if you remember, but like there was a good portion of time I couldn't even show up on camera because I kept getting sick. because of the injury. That I don't know. People like it pisses people off like in that inner circle sometimes, like the veterans and everything that find out that like I am one of those people that like want nothing to do with like because I get people that find out they're like, oh, you were in the military. Like, yes. You go, thank you for your service. I'm like, don't thank me for it. It's nothing to thank me for at all. I'm not happy about it. It's like I got hurt. I now have permanent damage. It's a soft spot. You know, it's like bringing up PTSD, I'd imagine, for some people. But, like, for me, it's just, like, a reminder of, like, I was once a young-ass kid that didn't know a finesse when I heard it. Because I tell you, man, they finesse you real good. You know, they really make you believe, like, you're out here just, like, they're just giving everybody, like, free, like, school and, like, benefits. And it's just all for free. You'll never go to war. Oh, not at all. The rarity of that. Like, oh, my God. Can't believe I ever fell for that.
I have spoken over 100 U.S. military veterans and people that.
Okay, so I want to pause and I'm going to fast forward just a smidgen to this next section where he brings in this guy that he partnered with that had some military experience and was able to help him ascertain the evidence to show that what they believe, okay, what they're asserting here is because Quantum they could not find a DD-214, and a DD-214 is a document that all branches use to show that the person was discharged from the military.
God knows how long, has a question for you that you purposely just ignore him and don't.
You know, that you were a U.S. Marine. And why is it that I cannot find a DD-214 on file with the DOD under your real name?
So before we continue on too, mind you, we didn't hunt this man's name down.
No, his name, this guy's name is out there, okay? And it's easily obtainable, okay? And you can see here, this is a copy of the document where they reached out to and asked them and said, dear recipient, thank you for contacting the National Personal Records Center. Unfortunately, based on the limited information you provided with your request, we've been unable to identify a military service record for this individual. If you're able to provide more information, including the individual's complete name at the time of military service, service number, if applicable, and social security number, branch of service, and approximate dates of service, we will perform another search for the individuals. So, you know, they gave all the information that they had, right? As far as, what Quantum's real name is. They gave the information, about, the time period, and they knew a time period because, and I knew about this as well. There are, currently, that I'm aware of, 2 Twitter accounts out there that are tied to Quantum, okay? And in those, there are tweets about him coming out of the military and that he had just got out of the military. So they knew a rough time frame of when he was in the service. And like I said, they weren't able to find anything with information that was readily available to them. Now, does this 100% at this point in time, does that prove that Quantum was never in the military? Well, no, not definitively, no. But not to be dissuaded, they pursued on and
unfortunately, based on the limited information you provided with your request.
Okay, so okay, let me go through this.
No,
here.
hell no. Branch of service and approximate dates of service.
So that, you know, okay, okay, going through this a bit more.
Called the Department of Defense Manpower Data Center. What he sent me is the supposed active dates that you would have been in the service, discharged, and what was the other one called again? Oh, yeah. Notified of future call-ins to come back into the military. Now, I could trust Tony with his, but I had to make sure with Rambo's, just in case to verify it because I want to back him up on this. So I went to the website type in the same code that he used to look your stuff up, yeah, that stuff that was sent to Rambo was legit. Now, the only evidence I have on hand right now to prove when he supposedly went to the military was back in 2009. And from the messages I saw on that Twitter page, said that you left the military in 2013, June 20th. So Tony, being the smart person he military in 2013.
Okay, so this is what he's talking about. This is a tweet that was put out underneath one of the Twitter. This is one of the two Twitter accounts where he talks about here in 2013. This is what I was talking about, and I knew about this. Saying finally back from the military, expect some new music soon. So anyway, like I said, to me, he found enough evidence to really makes me question whether or not if he ever really was in the military. And I think I'll just say this. I have more suspicion about his claims of being in the military now. I think that's and like I said, I think Gara and them did an excellent job of refuting his claims as well. I do know Gara has had some privacy complaints filed against that video, and it was over sections where they found because Gara actually was able to get in contact with somebody that knows Quantum in real life, and he has a real nice interview with the guy in the video. And like I said, I cannot encourage you enough to go watch his video that he because and listen to that, and you can, and anyway, it leads him to some reviews and stuff that Quantum has done on some local establishments, businesses and stuff in and around the area where he lives, and it's straight up. I mean, I'm sure all of us have seen videos where we've seen postings and stuff by people who just have this real entitled attitude. If they're a woman, a lot of times they'll call them a Karen. If they're a guy, they call them Ken or whatever it is. But they will make these post these reviews that are just horrible reviews and just very toxic in nature. But anyway, they go over that and read some of those. And anyway, so that's what he flagged him over. He flagged him on privacy about his public reviews on these public websites. I'm sure something like a Yelp or something like that. I'm sure is what they were pulled for him. I personally haven't went looking for them to even find them. But if you're smart and you know how to do searches, I'm sure you could find them. But like I said, I'm sure it's on Yelp or something like that. But anyway, to me, it's just kind of funny. Of all the things for a privacy complaint to be filed upon would be his reviews on things. He doesn't, go after him about him questioning his military service. He doesn't go after him on anything else, just his reviews. I think that's kind of funny, but again, this is Quantum, so who knows what's going on. So moving on to our next thing. Yesterday, on my way home, I started seeing some tweets out there from Jessica Pizzle and Sabo Pancakes, and it was really interesting in the fact that both of them are stating here, and like here in for example, in Jessica's tweet, she says Def Noodles fans are trying to purposely strike my videos over footage that he himself posted to Twitter. That's okay. I appealed it and showed them exactly where I obtained these public clips. Nice tries though. And she shows here YouTube. Hi, the community council. This is notified that we have received a privacy complaint from an individual regarding your content, and has a link and stuff. And then this is the other one. Hi, this is notified we have received a privacy complaint. So this, she's showing that they were going after her, trying to flag down her videos. Salvo then puts out a tweet saying that just for your information, because people are asking, these 2 Breakland episodes have been removed by YouTube. He says, can't make us think about it. Everyone knows the consequences when working with Google. We'll upload these off-site soon. And this was about a video that he did where he talks about, says Ethan Klein is guilty. Teddy Fresh was about him, Teddy Fresh stealing design ideas and stuff. It says Def Noodles lies and Augie RFC cries. Anyway, he shows a screenshot here saying from YouTube saying we reviewed your appeal on this video. And this was the second one. It says Ethan Hila caught stealing, Def Noodles meltdown, Papa Gut cries, and more. Says we reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed that it violates our hate speech policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. So anyway, and then so I thought, oh boy, I mean, that's 2 strikes, right? Third one in Salvo's at jeopardy of losing his channel, right? So then last night at 10:30 my time, Salvo put out a tweet saying, update, I deactivated my YouTube channel for the time being. The night is dark. And then if you go to his YouTube channel, it's there's nothing there. All content and stuff has been removed. This is, to me, this is very problematic. I think this goes to show just how busted the YouTube flagging or copy, whatever, their YouTube creators are very subjective to people coming together and mass flagging, right? So if somebody, like if a commentary person makes a video and they are taking exception to something someone says or does, like Def Noodles or Ethan or whoever, it doesn't matter. And if that person has a large enough, hang on a second here. Chris the Narc is called in here. Let's bring Chris in. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Shut up.
Well, listen, son, you kind of went after the way we Southern guys talk, man.
I didn't really do that.
Well, I got to know something, because and the little clip.
Let me switch to my computer. I'm on my phone right now.
Okay, get on your computer, bud.
Hey, give me 1 second.
All right. Let me bring in Nerdy. Looks like Nerdy's calling in too. It's just a banner day for people. How you doing, Nerdy?
I'm doing great. I'm pulling one out for Salvo, man.
Are you pouring one out for Salvo? Oh shit!
Two strikes and Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
So Chris, let's. I got a question for you, bud. So I was watching this little clip that Hannah Animal, in her all of her wisdom, shared with us. You made a statement, said that you were born and raised down in the South, but you moved and just lost your Southern dialect. Is that
very true?
Okay. So I got to have some clarification here, because I'm going to tell you something. I was born and raised in the South, lived 18 years there. And then I've lived, and after that I moved, I lived in Indiana. I lived in Illinois. I've lived up north. I never lost my Southern accent. So I got to know, how old was you when you left the South? And when you say born in the South, what state was you born in?
The greatest southern state of all time, Florida.
Oh hell, that ain't South. That ain't Florida.
No, that ain't South. That ain't South.
No.
Florida is its own beast.
No, Florida.
It's its own location.
So that explains. So you're basically a Florida man.
Don't Don't make me synonymous with the drug abusers and the fucking the animal abusers. Don't you make me synonymous.
So here's what I'm going to say, Chris. People from Florida don't traditionally have a Southern accent, right? For a Southern accent and to be considered Southern, you're going to have to be like from, say, I'm going to say like the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, and here's the thing. A lot of people say people Mississippi. Mississippi has their own dialect, right? People from Arkansas, Tennessee, and even Texans have their whole separate, dialect as well. Mm-hmm. So, but how old was you when you left Florida?
11.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of pass, but I wouldn't claim, I think you made a little bit of a false statement there when you said you was born in the South and you just lost that accent. Because I don't think so. Especially if you're like a lot of Floridians, you just kind of travel meander up that eastern coast. So like if you're up and saying around the New Jersey, New York, whatever, that's really all that's in Florida anyway, right? Is retired.
But New Jersey's gross.
I didn't say it wasn't, but I'll say this. I was in New Jersey. I had to go there and back when I was delivering school buses across the country. I delivered a bus in New Jersey. Their transportation system, their mass transit, is spot on, dude. I got on one of their buses and rode from one end of the damn state to the other to get a rental vehicle, and it cost me $2 I was like, hell, you can't get no better than that. And I got lots of entertainment. So, but no. But I'm thinking if I hear any more, making jest of the way we say ambulance, it is going to be a trip to the woodshed, my boy.
It was one joke, and I was
you're gonna need an
Repzilla.
ambulance.
I was thinking of Repzilla, but hold on. Everyone thinks it was all about Minxie. Minxie lives in that state too, right? Like she says she's Southern, but she ain't Southern.
Nah, I don't hear a Southern accent with Minxie though. She's.
Well, I won't say what's.
I mean, she's got unless that's like some sort of character she's developed, because I don't hear. I mean, now you listen to me. Well, you can't get much more Southern than me.
No.
And Zolly's got a prominent Southern accent as well. So
Very.
Yeah.
But
so
can we all just be honest here together? Southern food is the best goddamn food on planet Earth.
No argument from me.
Gravy,
I mean, it
grits,
is
gravy, barbecue.
Let me tell you something.
If it's Southern mac and cheese, oh yeah.
Southern food is akin to what you'll get fed in heaven. I'm gonna just tell you right now. It's what you'll get in heaven. So anyway, I was just kind of going over to talking about this situation with our boy Savo, and I'm kind of concerned about the boy. He had 2 of his videos that already struck, right? And that does, the thing about it is more than likely if it was a mass flagging by one of these creators, rabid fan base, the other ones could have already been filed. But here's the ace in the hole. I think that Savo has, it maybe gives him a little bit of a heads up or a get out of jail free card. Maybe he's got Keemstar, right? Mm-hmm. And he also has the Paul brothers.
He does. I keep forgetting that he's friends with Jake and Logan.
Yeah. So I think he's probably going to be okay. I don't think that he's going to quote lose his channel, but to me, I think it just shows how screwed up YouTube's policies and how it's so easily exploited.
It is.
And I think YouTube has got to do better. I think they've got to do something. They need to be able to identify. And here's the thing I don't know exactly what it was in those videos, right? I mean, I know they said for harassment, right? Wasn't that what it said?
They said
it's such a vague guideline.
They said hate speech
was
one of the original strikes.
Yeah.
So that one was presupposed by him, quote unquote, bullying and harassing was one of them, and I'm pretty sure hate speech was the other one, or is that the one with Edwin? Let me double check.
Well, hang on here. Let me just share my screen
Edwin's
with you guys.
got removed for bullying and harassment, if I remember correctly.
Was it bullying and harassment with Edwin?
Well, this one here, I didn't know. Okay, so Edwin's lost the video too?
Yeah, because he had Salvo on it.
So no, so
Oh.
Edwin's video was taken down because the speculation is that it was due to burning the Brazilian flag, and YouTube flagged that as a form of hate speech or bullying and harassment. Let me double check here. Harassment and threats and cyberbullying policy. So that's the one that Edwin got.
Okay. So here would be
Salvo's
my question.
violated hate speech.
It would be my question, right? And I don't agree with this, right? And I didn't necessarily agree with Salvo burning the Brazilian flag, but each to his own. I'm not, whatever. If that was, I'm not the gatekeeper for what's comedy, right? And so I'm not sitting here. I'm not chastising Salvo for this thing. It just was not my cup of tea. That's all I'm going to say. So my question would then be this: is what about these videos that exist on YouTube where there's people who are burning, like, for example, I don't know, the American flag, right? Or any other country's flags. If that was what was behind it, if it was because he, in fact, did burn the Brazilian flag, then what is the justification? And I'm not calling, understand something. I'm not trying to draw attention to these videos. I'm not going to show any of these videos. I'm not going to say, hey, YouTube, I'm not. I'm just having a conversation with a couple of my buddies here. How does YouTube, I guess, in my mind, how are they trying to justify, oh, these are okay to stay up, but because this guy's making a comedy or this guy was making a joke, this is not okay. You see?
Yeah.
That's
so the bot, how I look at it, and this is something that all of us as creators know, is that the bot is never accurate. It can't tell the difference between nuance, comedy, and genuine threats or bullying, or even criticism for that matter. So when people flag a video, right? Let's say it's somebody who does things for shock comedic value. The bot is going to see or the manual reviewer is potentially going to see what the flags are saying. This person is bullying this other creator and saying these things. The manual reviewer is going to go through, even if that person is completely unaware of the situation, they're going to see that one thing, that complaint, match it up to what timestamp is there, and they're going to flag the video and take it down.
Yeah.
Because they don't look into the nuance of it or like the entire history of the channel.
Well, I know on this one here, and this was from Salvo's Twitter feed. He tweeted this out. And like I said, I've got it shared. You guys can, if you care to look, whatever. He says, hey, hi, Salvo Pancakes. We have reviewed your appeal for the following video. Ethan, Hila Klein caught stealing, Deaf Noodles meltdown, Papa Gut cries, and more. We reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed that it violates our hate speech policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it is our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. Okay. So, and here's the thing, I haven't dealt with anything so like this, so maybe I'm a little bit, naive on this, whatever. But is that just like an automated response, or was that
automated response?
It is. Okay. You think it wasn't like it was from a person who actually did a manual review of it? You think?
So so we reviewed your appeal for the following. So they reviewed the appeal. So Salvo's thing was sent to him through an appeal. Now the thing is that the appeal, and we all know, if there's because Breakland takes forever. No shade to Salvo, but those streams are like 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours long, depending on the topic.
Yeah.
So you expect somebody to sit there for 6 hours?
They
usually the appeal, the appeal will usually get shot back in 20 to 30 minutes, which is every major creator's gripe with the manual appeal process.
Yeah.
So I doubt they actually read into the context. I doubt they actually understand Salvo's form of comedy, and they're taking it as, well, all these people allegedly, because we can't prove it yet, all these people flagged this video. We're going to go and manual review it, see something that they said was bad, and then just strike it down after that.
Yeah. See, that's... Yeah, that can be, I guess, that almost makes you leery to actually become a large creator, right? Because inevitably you're going to upset somebody. You're going to piss somebody off. You're going to, especially if you're a comedian or you're,
form of edgy humor, really.
Yeah, type thing. You're going to, they're going to go after you, right? So either A, you have to be large enough so that you can't be canceled, such as somebody like what is his name?
Like
The-
Keemstar is an
Markiplier
example.
or
Markiplier, Keemstar, anybody with over 2 million subscribers really
Yeah,
have
yeah,
barely any issues
yeah,
outside of like manual reviews for demonetization, but
yeah,
actual like threats to their channel is a completely different situation.
yeah. Oh well, so either A, you have to stay small so that no one ever takes notice of you, or you have to get
Mhm.
big enough to where you become kind of bulletproof, for lack of a better word.
Right. Like an
Yeah,
example is last night when I was going over Quantum and then the Def Noodles
yeah,
Salvo situation. I
yeah,
basically said on camera, I was like, Def Noodles fans can suck my dick. Quantum
yeah,
TV can suck my dick. You're all fucking dumb. Like I
yeah,
was saying some shit that if I was on the radar of YouTube, they might look at that and go, well, you're being really mean to
sure,
another creator. But it's all comedic based. I don't actually give a
yeah,
fuck about what the Def Noodles fans think. You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure,
So it's good to fly under the radar, but like you said, it's probably scary for people trying to want to grow on the
yeah,
platform.
yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, it's just to me, I think Salvo is a much needed breath of fresh air
Mhm.
agreed.
for our neck of our little part of YouTube over here. It's been so nice to have somebody. It really kind of brings me back to circa 2000, 15, 16 of this little part of the internet. Where people were making commentary videos, or they were, but
It was
the big,
fun.
it was fun. It was not necessarily, yeah, okay. Occasionally there was somebody out there that really needed a swift, kick in the balls, but for the most part, it was not malicious intent. It was not, and it was not every time we turned around, it wasn't some sort of somebody being inappropriate with somebody.
Accusation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sexual,
no
some sort of,
pedophilia or anything.
yeah, it was pretty, it was, and so, we have a few treasures, a few gems out there, creators that are doing that kind of stuff, right? We have people like Willie Mack, and we have Wayweb Surfer, and even you, Chris, and Nerdy and stuff. You guys are you're starting to cover this content that in more lighthearted sense, and we're trying to get away from all these, because it's really gotten to the point to where somebody would like, well, I think they had inappropriate thoughts about me, so I've got to put out a twit longer or a 15-page Google Doc
Right.
about how I got to run in my pantyhose, and I think it was because somebody stared at my legs too long or some shit. I don't know. Maybe girls. I may be telling off of myself. Girls may not even wear pantyhose anymore. I don't know.
Right.
But I think you get my gist here. It's like, and that's just where around the same time that Tommy came to the same conclusion. I was like, I'm not, if there's not some sort of like police record where there has been a charges levied in the legal system, I'm not watching it, and I don't give a shit. It's just that
Yeah.
simple.
Well, like an example is like I used to be an avid viewer. I was never a part of the community like I am now, right? I
Yeah,
used to be the guy watching behind the screen and giving everyone viewership, right? That was
yeah,
my contribution to YouTube throughout like 2015, 16, all the way up to like recently as 2021 to 2022, right?
yeah,
So watching how the commentary community and how the community has changed so much and all the pedophilia allegations, I think what
yeah,
really kind of turned it on its head is the John Swan situation. As much as I hate to like throw him under the bus, the allegations against Cammy, the twitlongers, all of these things made a lot of people second guess these kinds of stories and go, fuck, like why are we jumping on these, saying these are potentially correct? Why aren't we waiting a little bit more? The Slazo situation was the first door to open that up, where people were fucking up that story, were like getting things wrong on purpose, and they found out later on. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna back up a little bit more than that. Okay, and this is I've got people that have argued with me counter to this, right? But if you go back to the very last baited podcast with the original 3 members. Okay, this was the very last one. They had what was that chick's name?
Zoe Berger.
Zoe Berger.
Well, that wasn't the original cast. That was with Colossal, Chad, and King.
No.
No, Tommy was on that.
Tommy was on. Okay, so my bad.
And it was yes, it was the very last. Okay, there was a podcast that was recorded after that, but it was never released. Okay,
right.
So, but in that podcast, the reason why Zoe Berger was brought on, right, was Keemstar was putting forth this assertion that if a male was doing what Zoe Berger was doing at the time, that male person would be labeled as a pedophile. Okay. Right. And they had this big Twitter war going back and forth, whatever. Right. And Tommy's told this story multiple times. And, he was real nervous about it, but, Dead on Dave was like, no, this is a work, Tommy. This is a work. And if you go back and listen to the podcast,
they admit it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Clown was pissed. Clown was so pissed at the stuff. Tommy was just relieved and was laughing because he was like, "Oh my God!" Because this, he just knew this was going, this was going to be horrible, a horrible situation. And I think it was probably the major crack that occurred in that trio that actually led to the disbanding of the original 3. Because of the situation. And this is like one of my very first commentary videos I ever made on this channel was about that. And my whole stance was this, as I felt like the word pedophile was, even back then, was starting to be tossed around way too liberally, right? This was something that was levied against Basherverse, right? And that whole situation. And honestly, if you go back and look in that whole scenario, to me, I don't see that as what that was. That was that was parents who were, were being a little bit overzealous, but basically their daughter was engaged, who was under the age of 18. I think she was like 17 or something, and Basher was like 18 or 19. Right. And they were engaged in, physical fornication. Activities. They were having sex, whatever, right? And mom and dad just deed. Yeah, they were making the double back monster. And the parents got pissed off about it, and he was charged and I think he was actually found guilty of it, whatever. But it wasn't pedophilia or anything. Like, it was more of like a statutory situation, right? Because it didn't meet the criteria. But people were calling him a pedophile, which he was not a pedophile. So, I just, even back then, I thought, okay, we are watering down a word which, to me, and this is my personal view, is a word that should not just be tossed around. To me, that is something that, to me, is so, it writes, it's there are certain words I think that we have in society that should not be just affixed to somebody as a joke or a meme or, something of that nature, right? And anything from labeling, oh, you're a Nazi, right? Or you're a pedo, or shit like. To me, I was like, okay. And I still say that whole situation with the whole Zoe Berger situation there, it's so watered down what that word meant that now look at where we're at now. Everybody's called a damn pedo. Oh, you're a pedo. You're a pedo. You're a pedo. No, fuck. I mean, just, to where when we have people that are having joke songs made about them being pedos. And I'm not talking about the whole flamenco situation. Right. Because it's just all a big joke now. It's all yucks.
That's all it ever was a joke at the time. Sure, it's like, a pretty tough word to be called, but it was also a fucking joke.
Right.
You know,
Well,
within the context of the parody song making fun of flamenco, there's no actual evidence to discern that
No.
he is a pedophile or that there's even any speculation or even evidence to show that he is a pedophile.
No, and I wasn't like I
So-
say, I wasn't even talking about the whole flamenco situation, right?
But I feel like that has to be clarified because flamenco doesn't seem to fucking get it.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, exactly. I don't, like I said, I don't know enough about the flamenco situation other than know that he took a molehill and made it into Mount fucking Everest. And when he did
let's
that,
let's get back to the original subject, because you were trying to make correlations with Salvo.
yeah,
Right.
about. I'm sorry, what was that?
It was how the commentary community's changed from the.
You see, this is why I'm trying to keep you on track, Riverter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was how
man.
Salvo's made commentary. He's
Oh,
basically
yes,
started the
yes.
trend that it's become
Yes.
fun again to make content.
Exactly, right,
And
exactly.
we're all just talking shit like we used to instead
Exactly,
of breaking pedophile
100%,
stories.
100%. You know,
Yeah, the only time I broke a pedophile story was to get back at a dude who's just been subtweeting about me for over a year now because I'm petty.
okay, yeah, but okay, that was that. From what I know about that situation, nerdy, that is probably something that is appropriate. Lay before him, right? I don't think I'm necessarily going out on a limb on that. With the evidence that I saw put out, it was pretty bad, and
Yeah.
so that was probably a label that would be appropriate. That, but now back to the Salvo thing, right? Yeah, I know he put out that whole song, the spoof on the Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, and it was funny and whatever else, and again, this is, and I'm not critiquing. I swear to God, I'm not throwing shade or nothing. It's just something I personally wouldn't do, right? Because again, and I get it. I'm an old man and I'm from a whole different generation. But there's just, to me, there's just certain things, words or stuff that you don't hang around somebody's neck just for humor. And maybe it's because I'm not a comedian. I don't, but I think there's plenty of things that you can bust somebody's balls about without hanging some of those type of words around somebody's neck. But again, like I said, I understand, that his in regards to flamenco was all jokes and humor, whatever, and flamenco lost his ever loving damn mind about it, and which made it even worse. He caused the Streisand effect, rather than just ignore it. But it's just like, when we bust Nerdy's balls, right, about being selfish in the bed. He went with it. He didn't lose his damn mind. And or just like when people sit there and started calling me Peepaw because I'm old as hell. Well,
Right.
Or the fact that, or the fact that Chris Anarchino is a police officer and his most well-known case is going after a black guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not me like going off and saying people are being people are saying I'm a racist. Oh my God. It's not like
Yeah.
any of those things. It's just roll with the fucking punches. Like, what is the point of you doing anything else outside of that? Like Salvo did that, that story that as a joke during Breakland towards the end,
Yeah.
that one night about me,
Yeah.
where it was like, oh, a new relationship, no relationship, and I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
what I did is I immediately DM'd Salvo and I was like, dude, that shit was so funny. I was dying laughing at my computer. Like,
Yeah.
why would I take that seriously in any context, Like,
exactly. I mean, if you're going to be online and you're going to bust balls, which is really all commentary channels are, is just, you're just busting balls, or all it really should be, right? In my opinion, just kind of busting balls of it, right?
Yeah, it should be that.
So when the light's focused on you and you're getting your balls busted,
you can't bitch.
No, you just got, okay. Yeah, you got me. You got the tater. You just got to let it go, right?
I think a good example of that negatively affecting people. It's like Cheeto and Jalen. They try to act like they're hardcore.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like the spotlight's on them, they're complaining about people making videos on them. They're like complaining on Twitter for several hours.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, for example, if, all right, like with the Cheeto deal, right? because he
Mm.
got offended because somebody was making fun of Easter weekend, right? Because he
Yeah,
was
because of Christians.
because he's a Christian and he took offense to that, right? Well, okay. I'm was raised in the deep South, and I am as deep water Baptist as you can come, right? And I seem to remember something about there being a little passage in there about turn the other cheek,
Mm-hmm.
right? But no, not these guys. We're going to go and put, we're going to go complete, totally flame war on and go after people. People who had under 100 followers that tweeted at them saying you're stupid, And I'm like, okay, when you have somebody that is that small that tweets at you saying, hey, you're being dumb here, and you want to go complete totally nuclear about it to the point where you have to get a large YouTuber to come in and say, hey, what you're doing here is wrong, and maybe you might want to rethink these things. And then I'll say, oh yeah, well yeah, you're right. I see where I'm like, okay, all right, big boy, you've got a tender belly, and I'm just biding my time. And when it's right, you're going to get spanked. You're going to the woodshed. And
Holy shit! Did you guys just see that Repsion's fiance dropped the entire court docs against Maya?
Oh, Jane did that? Oh no.
Yep, Jane just did it. It dropped actually at 2:31 today. Here, I'll send you the Dropbox, Riv.
Okay.
Not to distract. I was just like scrolling
No,
through
no,
Twitter
no, no,
because
no, no.
Hannah let me know that Tipster was trending again on trending for you. So I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on, and then bam, I see the Dropbox and Repsion's like,
Well, let's just take a look at this.
She tried going at Edwin.
So here's the
Maya.
thing. Let me just switch over here to this channel or this view here. So, oh God, Lord, that's bright as hell. I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this other than I know
You don't want to get involved, trust me.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved. It's just a very interesting development to an entire situation that has been spanning how long, Nerdy? Like 2 years now? 3?
Almost 3.
Yeah, almost 3 years now.
I know the last thing that I saw on this was and here's how I got kind of caught up in, not really caught up in it, whatever, but whatever. They were putting out tweets about recipes for squirrel, how to fix squirrel.
That sounds good.
And as any self-respecting Southern boy, I had to get in there. And because I love some good young squirrel fried up, or if it's an older one, you parboil it and make squirrel and dumplings out of it, right? And but anyway, and I guess because they had, killed some squirrels in and around their property, what have you, that was causing, because squirrels are destructive. They'll destroy your shit. I guess they had.
Yeah, they were destroying their plants.
Well, yeah, and anyway, I guess they had I guess Game and Fish, or whatever legal entity covers that stuff up there where they live, called on them, and and I guess they showed who filed the complaints and everything else, whatever. I guess like they were supposed to have done some sort of, like, what was it, like wildlife abuse or some shit. I'm not for sure, and I was like, holy shit, and but I just know that the ex is friends with is it Steve DeLive? And
It's Steve DeLive.
Yeah, and that's all I need to know.
Funny enough, DeLive's the only one who likes her. From what I know, everyone's telling
And
him he's
Sen.
insane.
So Sen.
Sen doesn't like her either. Sen's gone on record saying he doesn't.
So apparently, if you were watching the bunk debate, because I was in the call with Repsion and Tipster and everybody, Repsion called into Bunk's debate against Sen, and Repsion dropped a bomb that Sen has been subscribed to her OnlyFans this entire time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So, like, if you watch back the Sen debate towards the end, Repsion calls in and insinuates that. Now, I'm not saying it's 100%. I don't know, but it was said on a live stream.
Well, like I said, anytime a couple breaks up, if it can be messy, and from what it seems like to me, um, uh, the ex may be a little bit
Cuckoo.
sort of, yeah, unhinged. I guess would be
Nicer way of saying it.
yeah. We could just say she's batshit crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
we could.
but I was just like, okay, this is one of these I don't want to be a part of.
The
Because
whole
that's
situation.
yeah, that's people's lives. I mean, I know they've got, and I seen something about RepSound said they'd hired a PI to do stuff
Yeah.
and investigate, and I was like, okay, this shit's getting out of hand, and
Well, I remember I
this,
told you a couple months ago
yeah,
not to cover this because I told you because
yeah,
the people who were involved in it were docs happy.
yeah. Well, okay, on the whole
You were
docs,
concerned for Banana's sake. You were concerned for
yeah,
Banana's sake.
Banana's more concerned. Banana's more worried about. I don't give a shit. I feel like it's just inevitable. It's inevitable at some point in time. My real information is going to get out there because I believe that if you are a creator, if you either do it long enough or if you become big enough, your information will come out, right? There's just some things that you can do to minimize the impact when that information comes out, and you know, and I think I've went over that with the viewers before. Some of the things that you can do to kind of stop that and or not stop it, but protect yourself, like having a conversation with your local law enforcement, right? And just say, hey, I'm a streamer and I'm a YouTube personality or I'm a Twitch streamer, whatever it is that you do, and I have some people out there that don't like me, they're not happy with me, and they could call in some false police reports to try to get you guys to respond, and I want to protect you guys. I want to protect me, my family. So we need to have some sort of a conversation about how we can ensure that everybody stays safe and you guys can still do your job. I still can do my job, and we don't have to worry about anything, uh, you know, anyone getting hurt, um, and that's just a word of wise to anybody that is doing online stuff, or is thinking about doing it. It is definitely a conversation that you need to have with your local law enforcement. So, anyway, hang on. What is this here? What's Abby saying? Zero busted me because no, not yeah, squirrel stew, shit, squirrel and dumplings. Hell, don't matter. You get hungry, by God, you'll eat. Damn, I don't care. Call them tree rats, whatever you want to. By God, you get hungry, you'll eat the little bastards. Um, which Abby's saying here, she was bad. Cuckoo. He re-uploaded his original video. Oh yeah. I remember what you're saying there. Yeah. Uh, oh, hang on here. Chris got knocked out. It says here. Oh, you there, Chris?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi shit the bed.
Oh no.
It does
The
that
good old
pretty
Buffalo
often.
Wi-Fi, man. The
Yeah,
good old
fuck
Buffalo Wi-Fi.
Buffalo Wi-Fi, man. There's only one ISP provider.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
But anyway, yeah, I know that he had to re-upload the video several times because she kept claiming shit.
That whole situation is never going to be resolved, and it's going to be a fucking nightmare for years. That's basically it.
Well, let's see what Abby's in the waiting room. Let's see what Abby has to say. Hi, what do you say, Abby girl? Hello, Abby.
Hi, hello.
Hey, how you doing, hon?
Hot. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, there's so many voices at once. Okay.
Are
Yeah,
they
no,
the voices in your head or?
no, it's just you and Chris and Riverter all at
Mm.
once, but again in 3 loops, and it was like really obnoxious, and
Okay.
my brain,
All right.
I deal with, yeah. So, yeah, no, she hired a private investigator, and she's crazy, and Steve DeLeve is weird. Oh, and Jane kind of dropped the private investigator secret by posting drunk pictures that were quote unquote privately sent in a group Discord chat of him holding a gun. It's kind of funny.
It's a BB gun.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. But I'm going with BB gun because I don't think Steve's that fucking stupid.
Well,
mean,
okay, and here's something else to remember, right? If I'm not mistaken, um, does Steve doesn't he live in Canada?
He lives in Canada.
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, so uh, and I know this because I have several friends in Canada, and we've had long conversations about guns and stuff in Canada. It's you can have firearms in Canada, but it's not like you can just walk down to your local, Walmart and grab one. It's quite a lengthy process. And as far as like individuals, homeowner, just whatever, having a handgun, um, that is not that is just not a thing. And even like with a BB gun and stuff, um, you have to be careful with that shit too. They're very strict on people's. I mean, like even with people, like if you, what was that one person up there? It's a, she's a, she is a trans woman, and she's kind of weird. Um,
Are we talking
uh,
about Keffels?
no.
Hey, dog.
This is another person. No,
Oh,
like
Narcissa?
I don't remember. I know, like one of the stories I read about her, she went into a, I don't, I guess, where they do waxing and stuff, and went in to get a wax job done, and she had not fully transitioned,
Oh, I
and
know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I saw I saw an old Cecil McFly video
okay,
about
yeah.
that person. Yeah, I know who you're
Anyway,
talking about.
yeah, and they refused to provide services because of of and she tried to sue them. And then she got in trouble because she had like a stun gun and it wasn't registered or some shit. And
Yeah, she admitted that in the live stream with Blair White.
yeah, so
Oh,
uh,
shoot.
yeah, so when
Oh, was that it started with a J. I know who you're talking about, though.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I guess I kind of going around Aunt Laura's house, but um, just to say that you cannot just readily have firearms and stuff at your disposal. I mean, they won't like even with stun gun stuff. So I kind of along the lines with Chris on this. It's more than likely it is just a BB gun or a pellet gun, and I don't think it's
Well,
anything
the
that.
only thing I could think it plausibly being, because I don't know Steve DeLeave, I don't follow Sen. Neither one of them ever makes
Yeah,
sense about anything, and neither of them are even decent to
yeah,
ever look at ever. And so I don't really care. But
yeah,
I think they're kind of like grandma or like, parent babies where they just kind of like sit there and like live online and don't do anything. So like their parents could have it or some dumb thing. You know what I mean?
sure,
We see it all the time out here. So
yeah,
wouldn't be too far of a jump in my
yeah,
opinion. But I don't know. I don't
yeah,
remember reading one way or the other. I guess we'll look
yeah.
in the document.
But
Oh
anyway,
man.
well, thanks for calling in, Abby. I appreciate it. And you have a good evening, hon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm fixing to wrap things up because I've kind of got to get ready.
Mhm.
Dead on Dave will have his midweek show. It's going live at 7 Eastern Standard Time tonight with Willie and Matt. And so, anyway, if you guys uh, make sure to tune in for that. Chris, why don't you kind of, I don't know what you call it. Well, tell people where
Close
they
it
can
out.
find, yeah, where they can find you and kind of, I guess, hype yourself up a little bit there.
That's all right. My name is Chris Narki. You can find me on my channel just like my name. I just finished 2 streams yesterday. One on the topic of Salvo and the situation involving Def Noodles' response to Keemstar's dismissal. We were able to get the documents for that. Super funny response by Def Noodles' team that makes him look more brain dead than original. And then we also finished the final arc, literally the final fucking arc, in my opinion, in just anything involving Quantum for the rest of my fucking life. I would rather jump off a fucking bridge than
Oh
ever
my.
talk about anything about him again. So if you guys want to check out the channel, that's great. Make sure you subscribe to to Riverter though. He's a great fucking guy. I enjoy coming on his shows and shit, and it's always a good time.
I appreciate it. And as far as Quantum, dude, from your mouth to the good Lord's ears, I tell you, I'm tired of that guy. I just need him
I'm
to
over
drop
it.
and blow away.
He's done.
Nerdy. So I know you got a lot to celebrate. You recently got monetized. Congratulations on that. And
Yes.
so share with the group what or with the viewers stuff where they can find you if they're not aware of it.
All right, you can find me on YouTube, nerdyjohn.to2. And this Friday, we're going to be doing Nerdy Live episode 42. We're going over the BX Bullet stuff. We're going over Nick is Not Green, which is a YouTuber who recently tried. We were talking about mass flagging in terms of salvo. This dude wants a creator by the name of Sneeko banned off the platform. He even told his viewers directly how to mass flag him. So I think that's going to be an interesting story. And speaking of the quantum situation, we'll also be going over Gara's video, the nail in the coffin of quantum TV. And it'll be a good little arc for me because first big blow up was from his situation.
Yeah. You were there. Like I say, I mean, that's really kind of how I got aware of the whole quantum thing, was because you had done a little video and thanks for the sub there, Disc One. But you had done the little video on quantum, and he'd come after you, threatening to strike your video, and which was in response to the whole thing that had happened with Mischief. And so, like I say, you and myself and several others have been on the ground floor of this, and quite honestly, I'm ready to move on. And I covered the Gara thing, and I covered the whole thing with Gara was, I couldn't. He was able to get information that I wasn't able to get my hands on. That was the whole DD-214 and the whole military thing.
He had a lot of military people working with him on that one, just trying to do it. And then we had HHH call in on the stream yesterday.
Oh,
She was a member of the military, a pencil pusher, and she knows all about those forms. And we had confirming with her live that, would this document not be able to be accessible if you didn't make it through boot camp? She goes, motherfucker, you will get that no matter what, if you fail boot camp or not.
Yeah, the DD-214 is your. And that's what I was saying. I don't know. I'm not military, but I've had family members who were in military, and I know a little bit about it. And that DD-214 is a standard form. I don't care what branch you're in. That basically, when you leave the service of the military, right, whatever branch you're in, that form is filled out, and it denotes whether or not if you were honorably discharged, if you were dishonorably discharged. If you're dishonorably discharged, it will note why you were discharged. It is the end all be all. And the fact that one of those do not exist for him, like I say, the only way that would 100% seal the deal on that, which they'll never get, is if they got his SSN. If they got his SSN, they would 100% be able to undeniably say yay or nay on it, right? But I feel like with the information that they did have, and that, I think is pretty comfortable. And here's the thing too, right? And this is one of the things that, the whole false flagging, the whole false DMCA thing, that's okay. That's an annoyance, and it's a pain in my dick, right? But let me tell you something, and I really maybe I didn't go on this enough, but this is what really just pisses me the fuck off. He talks about how he was injured and how he had nerve damage, and how, it was such a horrible experience for him, and yada, 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 right? He talks about, and Gara has that in the video, right? Motherfucker, you want to see somebody that suffered nerve damage and the type of pain that is really caused by nerve damage? I suggest you take a look at Dead on Dave. That motherfucker's a hero, was wounded in battle, right? Fuck off with your bullshit. See, that's the thing. That's what to me is more unexcusable than the whole false DMCA and all that bullshit, right? That's fucking petty nonsense bullshit, right?
Right.
But him stealing and false valor, being in the military and saying, no, I'm sorry. That to me is inexcusable, and fuck him. And I don't say this a lot, but I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to say it so it's real so that he understands it. I hope you fucking get ass cancer. Because of your bullshit.
Worst kind of cancer.
Fuck you, you asshole. So anyway, and on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. But I want to thank Chris and Nerdy for coming on and hanging out with the people this afternoon.
Of course, man.
I'm glad to be back off. I enjoyed my vacation. I enjoyed my little time off, but I'm glad to be home. I was glad to be able to sleep in my own bed last night. And I'm just glad to be able to be back and making content and having conversations with you guys and others. I'm looking forward to Dave's stream tonight. So anyway, listen, you guys take care, and remember, keep your powder dry, and I'll see you in the funny papers.